Hey you guys, it's me, Janice, also known as Crowned Ori. I'm the face of Crowned Ori. And I'm going to do a quick recap of the last video, which was the beginning of, well, it's called The Soul's Journey, so it's like the beginning of the Soul's Journey. So that video was part one, this is part two. It might be a series, who knows? We'll see where it goes. But to catch you up or to remind you, whichever it is for you, I spoke about how we as individual souls come to be from a broader perspective. So what happens is source or God, or however you want, universe, however you associate the beginning with, but source casts off sparks of itself, and the sparks separate into essences, also known as fragments, also known as souls. So I will use those terms interchangeably, okay? So the sparks that source casts off, they're called entities. An entity is a collective of hundreds of fragments of souls, of essences, okay? So basically, we break off from source, get with a group of fragments who want to have similar experiences, and that group is known as an entity, but it's also known as your soul family. And then the fragments break off from the soul family to gain experiences to ultimately remember. The goal is to remember, okay? The goal is self knowledge. Remember who you are, okay? The fragment goes through the soul stages because I went over that. And the soul stages are infant, baby, young, mature, old. Those are the soul stages on the physical plane. And the physical plane is the first plane. And then the soul reunites with their soul family at the transcendental stage, the transcendental age, okay, on the astral plane, which is the second plane, okay. So the souls go to the physical plane, which is the first plane, like I said, after after casting off from source and their soul family. Okay, there are seven planes. There's physical, astral, causal, akashic, mental, messianic, and Buddhaic. Okay, and on the physical plane is where souls feel and experience separation, isolation, slower vibrations, which give us the effect of being solid. Okay, the slower um, energy vibrates, the more solidified it appears to be, right? So on the physical plane, the soul experiences, well, they gain new experiences, and it's the beginning of their remembering. Again, the goal is self knowledge, which leads to the expansion of consciousness. Stay with me, you guys. Okay. I also touched on the ages of the soul. Although the souls were cast off at the same time, so we're not older than one another necessarily. Okay, the souls were cast off at the same time from source. It's the soul progress that I am talking about when I refer to soul ages. So the soul progresses at different rates than another soul, and that's where we get the term soul ages. That's what I mean. Okay, it's not like you're older, I'm older. It's the rate in which we progress through our lessons and the experiences. Okay, so um, like I said, there are seven ages of the soul, and within those ages are seven levels. Okay, so the five ages on the physical plane are infant, baby, young, mature, and old. And then the two outside of the physical plane is transcendental and infinite. Okay, within those ages are seven levels. And the seven levels are named the same thing. You have infant, baby, young, mature, old, transcendental, and infinite. So you have the stages, and then you have the levels within the stages. I'm going to break that down. Might not be today, but I will break that down as we continue to talk about this. Okay. Um. So, It takes on average like 200 years to complete one level. That's like 3 lifetimes. And that's average. It could be a little less and it could be more. Okay, and when I say level, I'm not saying stages. Remember, you have the stage, and then within the stage you have a level. 200 years per level. There's 7 levels within one stage. I'm just saying. That's a lot of learning and remembering and experiencing. Okay, a whole lot. Um, Let me see. Where am I at? So I'm gonna cover the first stage. This is what I'm talking about. This is what this video is about. It's about the infant stage. Okay, and this is where it gets interesting. I mean, like super interesting for me because I was able to connect what I learned from hypnotherapy classes to with what I learned when I went to learn how to do past life regressions. I was able to connect it from the book that I'm getting a lot of this information from, which is called the Michael's Handbook, and like other sources. Like I just had this like profound like epiphany. I had an epiphany. And here it is. Check it out. So infant souls are in their fight, flight, and freeze development stage. And we refer to this as the primitive mind. When I say we, I mean us hypnotherapists. Okay, we the primitive mind starts to develop at age 0. That's before birth. Keep that in mind. Okay. You can also compare the infant stage to newborns to 18 months. Okay, which leads into the development of the subconscious mind. All of this is important, and by the time I'm done talking about all of the levels and ages and things of that nature, it will make so much more sense. And then I'm gonna recap everything, and you're gonna be like right there. You're not gonna miss a beat. I promise. Okay, I have 3 minutes. Let's see if I can get through this. Infant souls can be described as primitive, fearful, helpless, untainted by life experience. Okay, so remember, you're thinking infant, 0 to 18 months, before birth. Okay, um, they seem to resonate close to source because that veil between source and infant is thinner. Therefore, they may demonstrate special powers like psychic abilities and having a connection with nature and animals, just like a child is seen being able to remember or know otherworldly things. Okay, they're closer to source. Infant souls prefer to live on the outskirts of society in isolated parts of the world, where they can handle and take in the world around them and just be able to cope with survival issues. Okay, and if they are in a complex society, they're not on the outskirts. The early level infant soul may become overwhelmed. Early level. Okay, they focus on the body and how to use it, how to take care of it. They are learning how to exist in the world, in their environment on a basic level of understanding. They experience the world from a view of this is my body and everything else is other or not me. They want to have raw and intense experiences such as being oppressed, floods, battles, or wars, things like that. And that's just part of the integration process with the planet. The infant soul experiences with sexual, with, I wonder if I could say that word. They're like animalistic in the beginning levels of the infant stages, okay? Later on, they will ask, how can I get someone to like me, but feeling attachments come later later on in the later levels of the infant stage. Okay, the infant soul has to be taught what is right or wrong. They are inexperienced in creative endeavors. They don't become famous or well known because they don't have the experience yet. The focus of the infant soul: where am I and who are you? I'm working things out through trial and error by the way of primitive experiences. And just to wrap this up, positive aspects of the infant soul are simple, earthy, childlike, naive, intuitive, and living in the moment. Some negative aspects are animalistic, helpless, ignorant, frightened, aggressive. And like I said, I'm pulling some. Well, look, part two.